But Danny says that his friend needs to be taken to a place where this would become just a scratch. He needs to get back to the movies. The medics are not listening to him, so he takes out a gun, making them scatter.
I said turn around! Great! Just great! They always run away!
Danny jumps behind the wheel and takes Jack to the cinema. They set up a Slater movie, but the death is already here. Danny tries to protect Jack. Just out of curiosity, the death came to see a man who wasn't on any of its lists. Danny asks it to help him bring Jack back, and the death, with Gandalf's grace, tells him to look for the other half of the ticket. The plan worked, and Danny is holding a ticket that will bring Slater back to the movies. Friends step over the screen, and then it's time to say goodbye. Here the boss yells as usual. He's looking for Slater. The cartoon cat calls the doctor. Slater's wound is just a scratch. He will be fine.
What is this, some kind of a joke?
Slater deduces that at the funeral, Leo the fart will be stuffed with explosives and the nerve gas. So when he goes off passing gas one more time, the entire Torelli mob will be taken out. So Vivaldi owns the city. Meanwhile, at the funeral, Benedict triggered the countdown of explosives by pulling Leo's index finger. Slater and Danny are on their way. Jack leaves the boy in the car, saying that there's a gun in the glove compartment, just in case. Slater meets Practice and tells him that the fart is a bomb. And when Practice tries to trick him to the side entrance to the hotel, Jack immediately realizes that he is playing a double game. The rogue cop holds Jack at gunpoint, and then Danny points a gun at Practice, but does not have the courage to shoot. So a moment later, the kid gets handcuffed to the pipe. While Practice, they go looking for a house, and while they drive, the boy shows Jack the ticket, which brought him into the movie, and may possibly take them back to the cinema, but he doesn't know how to activate it. Then, Danny recognizes the house.
The bad guys are in there.
All I had to do is just drive around the neighborhood and point my finger at the house and say, the bad guys are in there.
You think you're funny, don't you?
I know I am. I'm the famous comedian Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
Jack is still skeptical, but they go and knock at the door of the mansion. A tough Asian opens the door and Slater asks him to speak to the drug dealer who lives in this house. Asian laughs and closes the door, and while Jack talks to Danny, the door opens again and Benedict appears. He wants to clarify that drug dealer issue, but the boy immediately recognizes him and says that he has a glass eye. Jack asks him to take off his glasses, but Benedict threatens them with a bunch of nasty dogs.
I snap my fingers again.
Danny is waiting for the premiere of Jack Slater 4. As his good friend, Nick says he's going to check out the new Slater film tonight and invites the boy to be the first to watch the 4th installment of the franchise. Danny's mom doesn't like him skipping school, especially for watching movies. After slaving away a bit at his homework, Danny wants to go to the film screening, but he is attacked by a guy with a knife. He handcuffs Danny to the pipe, having found nothing of value.
No jewelry, no VCR, a TV that'll get me $20.
The criminal throws a key from the handcuffs in a toilet and leaves, saying that Danny may go fishing. It's near midnight. This premiere is solely for one viewer. Jack Slater 4. A palace on the edge of a cliff, where Slater's second cousin, kidnapped by bandits, is kept. A man named Vivaldi, head of a criminal syndicate, is trying to find out what Slater knows about their business. His right hand, Benedict, a great shooter with a glass eye, helps to strike fear into the victim. But even under torture, they are unable to get any information from him. Then Slater shows up. He brought groceries for his cousin.
My second cousin Frank lives in there.
He enters the house. His cousin is tied to a chair. He still manages to say a message to Jack and dies. Jack sees a stack of cards on his body. As Slater scrolls through them, he realizes that this is the countdown of the detonator. There was a powerful blast, but Slater got off lightly. Danny knows he will be all right since he is the protagonist, and according to the cinema cliches, nothing can happen to him. Danny tries to prove to Slater that it's just a movie because the animated cat can't be in a police department. Jack agrees, and calmly notices that this cat is supposed to be back on duty.
Look out there, it's a cartoon cat.
He's supposed to be back on duty. He was only suspended for a month.
And the boss says that this cat is one of his best men.
That cat is one of the best men I got.
The officer still can't assume that they are just a part of the script. They get Danny interrogated, but a series of questions and a lamp lighting in his face do not change Danny's mind. The cops are puzzled by what the kid says, and Decker assigns him as Slater's new partner. Jack's blown away, and he gives the boy 10 minutes to prove they're inside a movie and promises to shoot him otherwise. But it doesn't scare Danny, since he knows that the good guys do not shoot kids in movies. The boy takes Jack to the video shop and asks for movies with Schwarzenegger, but there's Sylvester Stallone instead of him on the covers.
No! It isn't possible.
What's not possible?
Old Nick says that when he was Danny's age, it was given to him by Harry Houdini, who said it was a magic ticket. Nick never had the courage to check it out, afraid that the ticket wouldn't work.
And I wanted to try, but I guess I was afraid it wouldn't work. Houdini was like a god to me.
On the roof of the building, the Ripper is holding a group of children hostage. The negotiations have failed, and police are preparing for the assault. Then, the ultimate hero Jack Slater enters the scene. His boss Decker yells at him. He doesn't want Slater to interfere since he always causes a lot of damage. But no one can stop Jack. He needs to go upstairs, so he kicks out a policeman who stands in his way and promises to hurt the next one who will try to stop him. Jack climbs to the roof, where the Ripper, a real psycho, is holding his son Andrew hostage. The criminal's been waiting for Jack, as he promised to show Andrew how he kills his father. When he falls from the skyscraper, Danny saves him. They find a spot to drop the body, but then Jack falls off the hook together with the fart. They both fall into a puddle of tar, so the explosion makes no harm. He's pretty fed up with his boss, so he goes and shoots him. At this time, Slater breaks into the mansion in his pickup truck and orders him not to move. He hands his gun over to Danny and gives Benedict a beating for all he's done. He dashes him to the wall and expects it to break as normal, but Benedict just disappears. Danny realizes that he had the ticket and moved to the real world. Jack finally believes the boy was right, and they're taking a step through the wall. The partners appear in the movie hall.
It really hurts.
They gotta get back the ticket stolen by Benedict. Jack drops Danny off before slamming into Benedict's car, rushing on him. Danny warns his partner that these things work differently here, but Slater still decides to play that trick. Asian laughs and closes the door, and while Jack talks to Danny, the door opens again and Benedict appears. He wants to clarify that drug dealer issue, but the boy immediately recognizes him and says that he has a glass eye. Jack asks him to take off his glasses, but Benedict threatens them with a bunch of nasty dogs.
I snap my fingers again, and sometime tomorrow you emerge from several canine recta.
How exactly are you gonna snap your fingers after I rip off both of your thumbs?
After the exchange of niceties, he shows his eye. Danny keeps sticking to his story. He says that Benedict hates his boss, and that day when they tortured Jack's cousin, he had a bullseye. Benedict hears him saying this and gets alarmed by the boy knowing too much. His boss is puzzled by the fact that Slater knows about them, and he orders to get rid of the man who betrayed them and then Slater himself. His boss is puzzled by the fact that Slater knows about them, and he orders to get rid of the man who betrayed them and then Slater himself. Benedict, in turn, wants to know more about Jack's partner. Meanwhile, the newly minted partners come to the house of Slater's daughter. Jack and Whitney are having a great time.
It's old evidence. Counterfeit case. Looks real, doesn't it? Turns funny colors when you burn it.
In the drawer, Jack finds a photo of himself and his son Andrew, and gets silent. And he tells the bandits to take the money from the desk and leave them alone. But Benedict is careful and immediately realizes that the bills are marked, so they burn them in the fireplace. At this time, Slater returns and sees the colored smoke coming from the chimney, so he realizes that they have guests. So Jack's got to lose all he got. Then he throws a grenade at the Ripper's feet, saying that it's live.
It's a live grenade.
Yeah, right, Jack, right. You're gonna sacrifice your own child to get to me. I'm very flattered, Jack, but I doubt it. Andy, pick up the grenade.
Andrew picks the grenade up, and it turns into a knife. He stabs the Ripper with it. The maniac screams in pain and throws his axe at Jack. Slater deftly dodges it and shoots at the Ripper. After that, the picture becomes blurry. The boy sitting in the cinema shouts that the film is out of focus and calls Nick, the projectionist, to fix it. The boy is a real movie buff. He knows all the films in and out and goes to the cinema whenever possible, even instead of school classes. Danny is waiting for the premiere of Jack Slater 4. As his good friend, Nick says he's going to check out the new Slater film tonight and invites the boy to be the first to watch the fourth installment of the franchise. The Ripper wants to throw the kid off the roof first and then deal with Jack, but Slater is about to change the scenario too. He crashes the breaker box and pulls his feet off the floor, so the Ripper gets the electric shock through the wet roof. The Ripper is destroyed, but he promised to be back. Jack hears Danny's screams. The kid hangs on the wall, clutching to the high relief. Slater rushes to his rescue. He cuts the rope and goes down to the boy. Now Danny needs to trust him and let his hands go for Jack to catch him. Slater throws the boy onto the roof and then climbs himself. They're going